recent redistricting in which people who lived formerly in District 2 were moved into District 1. That kind of redistricting is anticipated to happen again in a significant amount. For instance, almost all, probably all of Harriet's Bluff Road will be moved 10 years from now into District 1. And the reason why is that we have a huge increase in population from the high-density housing, mostly apartments, that's being built in District 2, because they count heads. The problem that we have with that is that we have a 216-unit, brand-new apartment complex that is only paying for 20 students in our schools. That's how much funding they're contributing. We have on Harriet's Bluff Road a 70-home, very modest subdivision that is contributing 42 students' income to the school system. So 70 homes contributing enough money for 42 students, and 216 apartments only contributing enough for 20 students. There's a tremendous imbalance in the planning that's going into that kind of redistribution of concentration in District 2. When we bought our property and bought our home and built our home in District 2, we wanted to live in a rural part of the county. But we wanted to live close enough that we could spend the same amount of time we used to in Atlanta to get to shopping. That's why we moved where we did, out on Harriet's Bluff Road. But that's changing due to decisions we have no say-so in whatsoever. And so I want to have a say-so. I want to know why PSA Services have given me a park in which the bathrooms are closed. It's taken 5 months to complete a painting job on a single outdoor building that is still only partially screened after 2.5 years. I want to know why other parks in our area in Camden County are not able to be equal to the park that's People's Park, which is getting better attention than the park that's closest to my home.
Mr. Blunt? Oh, sorry. Would you all like to answer this question in the way that it addresses the whole county?
I would like to just make 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm not District 2, but
We'll let you know.
all right. I want to touch on something mentioned a while ago about the vote, ignoring the will of the people. I'm one of the voters, and I'm not ignoring the will of the people. I understand, I heard it, which is why I told you a while ago, the budget in Camden County for the spaceport is zero. I have no plans. It was to prevent the county from buying the property. We had a presentation just a few weeks back where we're bringing folks in, financial investors and these other companies. That's the whole purpose of all this, is putting this together so that it can be taken down. And as far as contaminated property, I'm so tired of hearing that. That property, what is taking so long, that property is being cleaned up. The EPD's out there, that process is being done, even as we speak. And that's one of the reasons it hasn't been closed on before now, is because they've not completed it. I'm not interested. I live here too. We've got 5 kids between my wife and I have been through Camden County schools. I got a junior. I'm not interested in buying contaminated property, but I tell you what, that property would be sitting there just as contaminated as ever had the county not got involved. And I love the people that tell me, oh, I know all about the contamination. Well, where were you when it was being contaminated? Where were you 7 years ago when we were looking at it? I know about this and I know about it. Ain't nobody been up there and told us about where if you know where this contamination place comes in. But in all probability, it's been found. And that's what's being done. And as far as ignoring the will of the voters, I'm not ignoring the will of the voters. It said for the Camden County not to acquire the property, which was never my intent to begin with. I want it to be on the digest. I want it to be a public-private partnerships. And we have that opportunity. And just as the financial group that we brought down here, they said we need 6 months, because I got to get all these people with the NDAs and this group with the NDAs. We all got to start talking to one another, and we got to vet out who we want. We got 6 space companies. I want one. We got folks who want to manufacture the rockets here. They got folks who want to manufacture satellites here. We built a spaceport. We didn't get approval for a rocket. Never had, never did, never intended to. To be continued.
Mr. Goodman, do you want to respond to that question?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Baldwin. I do want to respond. Wow. There's a thing called due diligence, and it is essential in the course of business affairs. I feel like this is fading in and out, so if somebody on the back row, maybe Cody, if I drop out, okay, let me know if I'm okay, Mr. Technician, we're good. Not doubting your work, sir. Due diligence. The group, and I won't even use their name because this is dancing around the idea that I don't want to be named in another lawsuit. I'd lived 74 years without ever having been named in a lawsuit before, and I don't want to be named in another one. Due diligence will reveal that we probably should not be in business with these people. Look at them. Do your own due diligence. The Board of County Commissioners better do the due diligence, and they better do it extremely well. As far as whether the land is contaminated or not, I heard 2 things just a moment ago: that it's not contaminated and that it is contaminated. I don't know which it is, but I strongly suspect that you cannot manufacture pesticides and highly volatile chemicals on a site with no proper disposal facilities without contaminating the land. I know of several people that are walking around with mobile oxygen because of it, exposure to it, who work there. I just think we need to be very, very careful how we're proceeding with the purchase of this property. The $11.5 million spent so far is the tip of the iceberg. If we buy it and get on the hook for the liability for it, the people at Union Carbide probably are doing a joy dance at the prospect of getting rid. It's a liability to them, not an asset. They should give it to us if they treated it like it is on their books. I am not against the spaceport. In this very room in 2015, thank you, I bought into it, but as time progressed, I fell out of it, and we all know why. Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper.
And we are now on our last question, and that is for each of the commissioners to provide any rebuttal or closing comments. Mr. Goodman is next on line to answer the question, but you just got yours. Would you like me to go in and...
No, it's very, very, it says please share any rebuttal or closing comments.
Okay, so we will go in our order.
I don't need to do any more rebuttal. I want you to understand, you've seen a side of me tonight that I'm not real happy with, but it is a side of me that is there. I control it pretty well. I can work with anybody. I will promise you, I will stand up from this table, and if anyone at this table wants to shake my hand, I will give them a genuine handshake, and I'll be friendly to whatever the other side is. I don't know what that means. I can work with anybody. A friend of mine who's known me my entire life is amazed constantly at how people can offend me and that I can come back and smile at them. And the reason I do that is I'm not going to let them rent space in my head, and certainly not in my heart. I will forgive them and move on. I do not hold grudges. I will work with anyone. So my closing comment to you is, I hope you sense from me that I am a servant of the people. I've tried to be that on the city council. People have accused me, for instance, of being against the Dollar Generals. No, I'm neither for Dollar Generals or against them, but I had a number of my constituents say, we want this on the agenda. And because I scheduled it on the agenda, somebody has taken liberty to say that I was against the Dollar Generals because that's what they were. No, I'm for people being heard. I'm a representative. it was my duty to say, come and bring your comments to the council. We didn't vote to do what they wanted to do, so I was not for them or against them. I just gathered the facts. And that's what I would like to do as a county commissioner, is be open to ideas, gather the facts, and make the best decision possible, the most of the times when it can be done for the majority of the people. If you doubt that, I don't know what else I can say or do to convince you of it. I've been an extremely honest man my entire life. I have never, ever committed any kind of situation where I was brought before the court to answer to anything. And I've handled multi-millions of dollars. As a county coroner, I've had my hands on things that, you know, nobody else knew about. But the right thing to do was always done. And that's the way I'll proceed. That's the last time I'm going to let you do that to me, sir. Thank you so much.
Mr. Turner.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you can understand that there's two things that I'm running on. Number one, communication. I do want to see us communicate. I like the town hall meetings. I'm going to try to do one at Harriet's Bluff before this is all said and done. I've already got the plans in the works. I want to hear what people have to say, whether they agree with me or disagree, whether they like me or don't like me, it doesn't matter. I want to see if I can help in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I've been to the Harriet's Bluff Pavilion, and I've watched those guys work, and they looked like they were working as hard as they possibly could. So I don't really understand, you know, all the things about whether you got to have 2 inches of mulch or an inch of mulch and all those particular items. So I need to learn that kind of stuff. But I will tell you that communication is a big part of who I am. Also, businesses. I don't like the fact that we are leaking into Yulee. I said that the last time, and I don't like it. I want Yulee to leak into us. I want that multiplier effect to happen here. Several years ago, when I was in business, I noticed that the school board was using people out of Statesboro and Savannah for everything they did. And I went and I talked with them. Back then it was Will Harden. And I said, Will, you got to give local businesses a chance. We got to have a chance. We don't have $100 million businesses like they do in Savannah. So you got to help us. And what he did was he allowed us to be 10%. We did it with the county as well. And they allowed us to be 10% off based on that. Or we had the opportunity to match the lowest bid. And the local people got it. When that happens, then what happens is we pay our taxes here, we buy our groceries here, we support our ball teams here, we do everything here, and that money stays here. And that's another reason that I want to be a county commissioner. I want to make sure that we're protected locally here as we continue to build our economy. Not tear it down, build it. And quit sending our fund. One thing Donald Trump did that I really love was he put tariffs on China. Wow, that worked. Did you know that? Does anybody remember when he did that? That's a business decision. And when he put those tariffs on China and started saying, let's build it here, then we started growing and we started getting independent again. And I still want to see Camden do the same thing. Bye. Last one. Hallelujah.
Speaking of leakage, the county commissioners signed a contract with Union Carbide that said that in 2017, if they hadn't closed by 2017, the county would start picking up the property tax for the Union Carbide property. This year, that tax was $53,000. This is leakage. This isn't somebody buying a football that meets their requirements down in the Yulee store because that football is not available that they want, or a jersey or whatever else it might be, or a restaurant. We do need those businesses here, but we have to be bigger. We have to have more people who want to live here. And if people don't want to live here because of who we are and what we are now, it's our fault. It's because we think we have to be something that we're really not. A spaceport is a wild-haired scheme. This is a big report issued this month that reads exactly like Spaceport Camden. It's done by a professor in Kenya who's talking about African spaceports. Anyone's welcome to look at it and see that every word in it looks like it was written for Spaceport Camden. Here's another report from the New Yorker magazine from last week, reporting from a real think tank about the economics of spaceports, and it says the equivalent economic impact for Spaceport Camden would be equal to 12 weeks of revenue for the Kingsland McDonald's. Now, of course, there could be jobs, but all of that's hidden. We don't know anything at all that. We're just asking to have trust in people who have told us that they're running out of space at Cape Canaveral, when 2 years ago, NASA approved 2 launch pads for 104 launches of small rockets, just like Camden wants to launch 12 of. And so that is on the NASA website. That's not something that I'm lying about. And so credibility has to do with who you trust, to do the research and to understand what they are reading. I think I can do that. I'm not going to listen to people who tell me with authority who don't know what they're speaking about.
Commissioner Blunt.
Thank you. I can answer that. I've been on the phone with a space company who does business at the Cape. They want to come here. They want all the 12 launches and more. They want to build the rocket manufacturing here. They want to build a space satellite manufacturing here. That's not my wild-haired scheme or my guessing. I have 5 other launch companies that want to come be here as well. We're vetting those 6. We're looking at them on who is going to really come to Camden County and do and spend the money, put the investment into Camden County, the hundreds of millions of dollars that need to be here. When you look at the last 80 years, what has come to Camden County? The paper mill and the Navy. That's it, for the most part. For the last 80 years, and that was the same question asked when I got on the commission. Mill's gone. But it was from the north, from those folks coming down here to a sleepy little town surrounded by water and trees. And they sucked everything out, just like the vampires. They paid enough wages for you to go to work and pay for your family to go to school. But what happened in the end? They left it dry. The investment that the JDA brought, who do you think is backing that? $10.8 million of the Camden County taxes. Yeah, it's just a different way of paying for bringing folks in. All these TADs are. You know, I want the folks that come into the spaceport, they're going to buy their way in. I'm not giving them their way in. And all we need time is to finish putting it together. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Camden County is financially far stronger than it was when I took in office. And that's a documentable fact. Thank you.
Let's thank all these gentlemen for